What's going on, world? It's your boy KUYA. This is Nerds Rule the World, and today I'm so excited to have another amazing creator from the ACES and AROS graphic novel anthology from my pals over at Lifeline. Shout out to Jeremy Whitley and the whole team, the whole crew, everybody behind this whole project. But Jeremy specifically, because he invited me to the party. He introduced me to all these fine folks. I love Jeremy. Today, I have one of the great creators behind this project, doing the monochromatic story within ACES and AROS. I have the lovely Tomi Trembath. How are you today, Tomi?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me on. Glad I can make it.
Definitely super excited. As we started off before we got recording, your particular story is so amazeballs. I have to tell you, it just
Mhm.
touched me with your usage of giant robots that transform. There is that Transformers, there's GoBots or whatever. They don't hold the license. We can still tell stories with giant robots that transform. The fact that you kind of took that kind of concept into your story is absolutely beautiful, and the knowledge of what this whole anthology is about and where you come from within comics, leading into this thing is just chef's kiss, just beautiful. Can we start with how you first got brought on board ACES and ROs, and then bringing us this amazing story in monochromatic?
Yeah, so I first found out about the Lifeline Comics team from one of their previous anthologies, Transphoria. Since I was hosting my podcast, Transcending Comics, which is all dedicated to trans comic creators and trans stories in the medium, I kind of started a talk there, and weird coincidence, since before that I'd actually been in contact with some of the folks behind it as a Kickstarter consulting service, getting ready for my own comic launch last year. And yeah, after that, I met up with them in New York for FlameCon. All a bunch of cool people. Had some of the folks from Transphoria on my show. I was on Jeremy Whitley's show as well. If anyone hops on Progressively Horrified, they just re-uploaded my episode for Pride Month, so check out their Assassination Nation episode if you can. But yeah, I've kept in contact with them, been on their newsletter, and then I saw like maybe 7, 8 days before the deadline that they were taking submissions for Aces and Arrows. So I was really working under the wire here, just like really pushing, getting a script turned around, and like I had to have a full finished script. It wasn't just like plot outlines they were taking. So me and my best friend both worked to like kind of consult on each other's stories and work to just like get something made as quick as possible. Met with a few friends to help me with the like plotting of each page. And then, yeah, turned around, and I was really excited when I saw I got in. But yeah, when it comes to like transforming robots or just transforming heroes in general, that's been my obsession since literally the age of 1. So yeah, kind of exploring this idea through that of like, okay, let's look at sexuality through the realm of giant combining robots. That's absolutely going to be my speed, or like my favorite way to explore pretty much any topic.
I love that. Love that. Okay, so you get wind. We got to put this whole script together. So you already had a little kernel of an idea that you knew that this was the story you wanted to put into this, or were you throwing ideas with your team and then you're like, oh, that you remembered that? So tell me. All right, you find out about it, and now like, okay, the pitch, or you already had the kernel.
I kind of had the kernel in the opposite direction.
Oh,
So, um, like about a year and a half ago, I'd had the idea of like kind of the opposite of this. Like rather than being from the perspective of someone that's part of a bigger robot, I wrote this first-person poem from the perspective of like the Power Rangers Megazord, like the giant combining robot, and like the existential terror of waking up for 3 minutes at a time, and you're like this weird conglomeration of consciousnesses of robots and little like teenagers with attitude in your head. You only exist long enough to kill this monster you know nothing about. Sometimes more robots are thrown on you and you're just part of this even bigger thing and you don't know what's happening, and then you shut down, and then it's all over again. You wake up again and you gotta kill something else. And that's something I will be kind of adapting into a comic for like a future issue of When We Transform. But coming now, like this idea really fits more into like a polyamorous perspective of like five consciousnesses coming together to be something bigger. But I have a lot of very close friends that are on the asexual and aromantic spectrum, including like my best friend and the platonic love of my life. So this was kind of exploring like what things are like on the opposite side of, say, polyamory, or like feeling pressured to be part of some kind of bigger connection that isn't really what you are looking for or doesn't feel right to you. So yeah, just kind of taking this idea of like someone that's just going along with it because they don't want to let down their favorite people in this world, and then coming to find like, wait, it is okay for me to be my own separate thing, and my friends will still be there. Like just because I'm not literally combining with them into one larger body, that doesn't mean I'm not still part of the team. So yeah, really, I've wanted to explore the ideas of like consciousness and like polyamory or like becoming one body through the realm of uh sorry, there's a fire truck passing real quick. Let me
No
let that
worries.
pass. Through the lens of giant combining robots, and this just was a good prompt for me to invert those ideas and see it instead from the perspective of someone that doesn't want to be something bigger, someone that does think the best version of themselves is the version they already are.
I absolutely love that because, you know, we're fans of this genre, right? And I know there are going to be like you said, we all have friends that are feeling this way, but now to interject that with this genre that we love, this is going to connect on so many levels, Tommy. And I hope you're ready for all the adoration you're going to find once people read this and be like, this is so beautiful. What was that like for you and your friends when you were talking about it? Okay, you made those slight changes, you found this niche, and you penned this beautiful script. What was some of the feedback, maybe from the editors, from Jeremy, from the other team, or just your team in general when you kind of figured that all out, the construction, and we formed it like Voltron, this beautiful script. Like
Hmm.
it's so I love this.
Yeah, well, let's see. So I have these two good friends, Alan and Abby, that every Thursday they get together for like a self-care, self-craft night of just people working on whatever little DIY projects they're doing. I came that night, I'm like, guys, I have a deadline. I need to get this made. Here's the basic idea. How do we break this up into 6 pages? And thankfully, one of my friends that happened to be there also is on the AROS spectrum. So like I was able to get some good adjustments. Like, actually, one of these people, Abby, acted as my editor on this. And, like, there were just little things. Like, the first time we see a character that is monochromatic, which is my term for being a triple changer in this world. Like, for those that haven't seen the story, basically, this is a world where every robot, like in a kind of solar punk Cybertron kind of situation, is expected to fit the role of three forms of like having their individual robot form, having a vehicle form for like utility and transportation, and then combining into one bigger like Devastator Megazord kind of robot. But instead, like our character who doesn't love this idea that like the best version of themselves only exists when they surrender who they are to three other people. Uh, they find out that like, oh, there are others that go by monochromatic, meaning like they're a triple changer. Like they have two different vehicle forms, or can be three things, but they're not form locked into being like an arm or a leg. So there were like small adjustments, like when writing a story about identity and like introducing someone to this. Like I remember my first draft, they introduced this desert wind character that's like a dune buggy and a like small like single engine plane. They're like, oh yeah, they identify as monochromatic, and like getting that updated to just they are monochromatic. And like uh that was a piece of feedback I really appreciated, since like yeah, it's hard to explain like okay, this is someone's identity, but it is also who they are, and just not like minimizing something of like, oh, they identify as something rather than just being the thing, and they are telling you that they are the thing.
Love it, love it, love it. Again, it's gonna connect and with fans both in and out, and just to see uh this is why what I love about the power of comics as creatives, that we can create and where we're going as a culture outside of where we thought the real world was
Mhm.
going. But I won't talk about the evil orange person in office that can go to hell and all of that shit. But I love this, and I'm so happy that we still have creators like yourselves out here to because society puts these labels on us. They want to kind of pigeonhole us and keep us in our shells. And when we find like this, we can be our true selves. And I just love everything about this. Let me stop throwing flowers at you because I could continue, and I don't mind doing that. I love sharing with creators that when I appreciate something that I think is so beautiful. The artist, how did the artist who you have involved with this? My apologies, the name is escaping me right now. So you penned this beautiful script with your team, and salute to your team.
Mhm.
The artists that you have collaborating with you on the here.
Yeah, so on Pencils and Inks, we have Gabriel Facina, who's also worked with me on When We Transform and my other upcoming comic, No Senator's Son, which will be part of the Childless anthology. And Carlos Amarim did the colors. He and I have also worked on previous comics, this one and When We Transform as well. And I believe both team members we found through the subreddit r/slash comic book collabs or comic collabs. Yeah, the same very good friend that kind of inspired me to write this story was also the person that kind of guided my hand learning like how to get into podcasting, learning how to like make something into a comic script. He had found these incredible resources by like just going to Reddit and finding all these artists from all over the world listing a rate that like, hey, sometimes we can actually afford this if we're only paying for 6 pages at a time. So I have absolutely loved working with both of these guys. Like when I show someone my finished copies of When We Transform, even the ones that aren't the trippy color changing versions, which that's its own topic, people see it and like the first thing they point out is like how great the colors look or like how amazing the character designs are. While I'm very proud of every script that I've made so far, these guys really take it to the next level. And like both with Monochromatic and No Senator's Son, like I feel like I can just look through these pages and I'm like, y'all don't even need my words. We don't have to letter this really. Like the story is all there even without the words. So what am I even doing here?
No, you're still a much needed member of the team. I feel you on that as a writer working with these beautiful artists. You're like, oh my gosh, that's like the most special thing as a comics creator is, when you see the pages come back and you feel so comfortable and, they get it, without so much exploration. And I don't, you know what, let's talk on process maybe. You know what?
Mhm.
Because I love that. I know as creatives, process. I don't know about you and your fellow creators, but it's always about process. How we can do things better. How I can do this. How do I give enough, too much of me so I'm not forcing myself onto the artist where they can still have the freedom to create and I'm not being too overly descriptive. So with your journey, okay, so like specifically these anthologies, you have your webtoon where it's an ongoing thing, right? But then with these anthologies, you only have four, X amount of pages to get your plot across, your story across. As a writer, how have you grown as a writer, and how does things like this working on anthology change? What have you learned, I guess, along the way? And do you have any like pro tips for any creatives out there that are listening in on this?
So something that's really helped me as I've gotten more into comic writing is starting with the conversation or starting with like the emotional through line of the book. So like before I've even started writing panel descriptions, like I might have an outline of like what each page needs to accomplish when I only have 4 pages or 6 pages or a very limited amount of page real estate. Uh, then rather than like jumping right to like the panel breakdown, I like to have a conversation that's going through it that will more or less make its way into either the dialogue or the captions. And it doesn't always have to be an exchange between two people. Sometimes it's a letter. Sometimes it's like a poem, or it's something I noticed a lot in like Ryan Parrott's writing, as well as like Tom King's Batman, of just most of these stories had something that's the through line at the center that's like there to help each page turn, or something that helps you cut back to an A or B plot. But I'll make the conversation this emotional through line of some sort, and then I'll put panels to that.
Mm.
Sometimes that's really straightforward of like you are just illustrating events around a conversation. Other times it's like, hey, you're telling a longer story or a bigger story in a small amount of space. So we're cutting two panels of things that are relevant to this from the past, but aren't what's happening now. So I think the reason I say that's my big tip is like I read other people's like first comics or people that are new to comics, and so often it's just like, hey, here are these superheroes and now we're going to see them fight, or here's this superhero and here's how he got his powers. But there's not that like emotional center to it that like makes me care about yet another superhero, or a reason for me to like find this conflict or this meeting between two heroes or a hero and a villain interesting at all. So like even if you want to tell a very by the numbers superhero story, you need to find something at the center of it that's going to engage the reader, and a lot of times that's going to come from your own experience. Like imagine you are telling someone your experience, or you're having that conversation you've dreaded, or you want to tell the best case scenario of a conversation that you've been holding in. That's what you do on the page, and you can do it with superheroes or giant combining robots or witches or anything. So yeah, like just find that emotional core, and I find it super easy to craft a story around it, but that's just my process.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Because I think when we hear other people's processes and we going back and forth, we figure out things that we might not be doing and things that, oh, maybe I should do this. And it strengthens, oh, okay, I have been doing it right. I'm not the only crazy person that is doing all this, or, and
Mhm.
it helps. So I thank you for sharing, Tomi, with that. So, okay, you've penned this beautiful script, monochromatic. Again, let me remind everybody, ACES and AROS support the Kickstarter campaign. Links in the description below, as well as I'm gonna have all of Tomi's links as well in the description below. Please follow, subscribe, do all the things. Check out Transcending Comics. And hopefully I'm gonna have Tomi back to talk more because she has a lot of other things happening. And my apologies, I almost slipped on the pronouns.
All good.
My apologies. I just want all the love to just shine, because I cannot wait to see more from you, and we need to make these things happen. So please support the Aces and Arrows campaign. So in regards to Aces and Arrows, you're part of this beautiful anthology. You have this amazing script, monochromatic, that everybody's gonna be able to love and enjoy and be inspired and feel seen. What does it mean for you to be involved with this? And with your team, once you put this all together and it's now going to be in here, how do you feel about all of this? And I'm sure you're seeing all these other amazing creators that you're going to be involved with when you become part of an anthology book.
Uh, Really, you kind of nailed it on the head right at that last bit. It's like being part of this bigger body of creators. Like, I've really liked what I've read from Lifeline Comics before. I've spoken with the people behind it, and I love the team. But like, to be put on a book and to see other people posting about it, or to see like Gail Simone making tweets about how awesome a book that you're going to be in is, that's like huge. I never expected to, like, I know it's not my story specifically she's posting about, but still a comic I'm in, she's saying like, this looks awesome. Like, oh my gosh, that feels like a new level of like quote unquote making it. Also, like, I put so much effort into my Kickstarter for When We Transform last year, while also maintaining two podcasts with Transcending Comics and Giant Sized Violence. And like, it was always a big undertaking. Then my basement flooded around last September, October, and it's totally derailed my creative process. I would really love to make another issue of When We Transform and kickstart it this year, but just there's so many things I need to account for. So having this opportunity to be in one or two or more anthologies that like other folks can now carry the majority of the effort going into this, building the campaign, promoting it everywhere, yeah, like making all these media appearances and just posting about it nonstop. Like, I do not have the bandwidth to do that myself this year. So just being able to be part of a bigger team, or like being part of this big combining robot of other creators and editors and publicists, like, it's so refreshing. And like, I don't feel like my creative momentum is like stalled out anymore, since I still get to be part of a couple comics put out this year, even if I don't have like a major comic studio paying my bills or like having me on the payroll. Like I'm still getting out there, I'm still getting to build out my portfolio and like having these opportunities, like having 6 to 8 days to flesh out a full script, like that's the kind of creative pressure I need to get new things out and get excited about them. And I can just like uh, cram, get something out overnight, and then let it be. And maybe something comes of it or not. I won't know for a while. And then once it does, like now I get to get those wheels turning again. I get to reach out to my artists and try and get this thing made into a finished comic. So yeah, just having that thing to make me feel like I'm not just stuck until my state gets less crazy or the world is less on fire or I'm more capable of like doing all my creative projects on my own has been super invaluable to me, and I'm super proud to be part of this anthology.
Oh, I love that for you. I just think that's, uh, I feel seen because that is exactly how I've been feeling. So shout out to Lifeline, shout out to Jeremy,
Mm,
everybody over there. I feel like in a way, by me doing these interviews with yourself and some of the other amazing creators behind this, is just so beautiful. Because I live in the Washington D.C. area, Tommy, and listen to one of your podcasts on your amazing Transcending Comics podcast, and you had started in there like telling people how your basement flooded and all of that, and you were considering moving states. I don't know where you're at in that. I'm actually very curious about that because I'll speak for myself. I feel like I'm living in hell. I don't know what's going on in the world. We've entered some dimension of the apocalypse, and it's super scary. But when with all of that being said, while the outside is terrible, the beauty that we as creatives that we're able to find online, and me now interacting with you, Zoom, meeting you, I hope that we can be friends moving forward. I'm meeting so many beautiful people. I feel that creative juice, that energy is just feeding through. So it's such a pleasure to talk with you and have this time to inspire us both
mm.
and everything. So thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Love the show, and yeah, I hope to be back someday. And promise not to stop the creative momentum, so you'll have a reason to bring me back.
I can't wait. Monochromatic is absolutely beautiful. Again, yes, definitely want to have you back. Before I let you go, I'm gonna have you back because you have another anthology coming up soon. We'll set up some dates. I want to talk No Senator Son. I wanted to, talk the Childless, your story within that, and then everything transcending comics. Before we got started, y'all, I was telling Tommy just how beautiful. Once you learn Tommy's story and everything behind it, and to create such a beautiful platform for other trans creators to connect, I adore it so much, and it's such a beautiful thing. And so I have to have you back, Tommy. I
Yeah.
have to.
Hey,
It's a
just
must.
curious, did you get a chance to check out my episode, It's Morphin Time?
No, not completely yet. I read some of the breakdowns you gave me, but I whatever was like that first podcast, that's
Mm,
when you head to YouTube is what I started listening to. And you're considering the moving, I think, to like Minnesota or
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Minneapolis. Yeah,
So
if there's like one episode of mine I can promote to the viewers, it'd be that one. It's on both my feeds of Transcending Comics, but it's what I used to come out on my other podcast feed, Giant Sized Violence, Toku Comics Podcast, which is all dedicated to like transforming superheroes, giant monsters, kaiju, and robots, and everything we love. It's very experimental. It uses a lot of music, and I haven't really heard another podcast like it. And there's been some exciting opportunities to come out of it. So I'd say if you only listen to one thing I've made, let it be that one, because I promise you I haven't heard anything like it elsewhere.
all right, I've got to finish up, but I just hope that you are safe, you are okay. It's scary times right now. We have friends out here, and I want you to know you have a friend here. You have an ally here, and I just think you're such a talented person, and I cannot wait to see what you're gonna do next. And I'm gonna chat it up. We have to
Hmm.
set up that next date to talk No Senator Son and everything else you have coming up on your plate.
All right. Well, you know where to find me. Hit me up.
All right, I'm gonna put your links in the description below. But for those that might be driving right now, because I have a lot of people that listen to the show while driving, can you share to close this out how people can find you online?
Yeah, I think the most Interesting place to find me is on Instagram as at Keymaster Collective. On there, you can see some wild color-changing artwork that I help produce. It's something I'm trying to bring into the world of comics and conventions, so that's the best place you can see that in action. Otherwise, I'm on Blue Sky, I believe just as like at Tomi Trembath. I'm on Facebook as well. Technically Twitter, but I think we're all too good for Twitter now. Let's be the change we want to see in the world and get over to Blue
Fuck
Sky.
Elon Musk. I said it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I don't say it out loud, but that is very much a sentiment behind No Senator's Son. So
I love it. Tomi, again, such a pleasure to chat with you. Again, inspiring work with Monochromatic. Congratulations on such a wonderful piece and being a part of ACES and AROS. Everybody support this campaign. Support Tomi. All the links are in the description below. The beautiful, the amazing Tomi Trembath. I'm KUYA P. Nerds rule the world.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world.
Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. KUYA P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes. Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds Rule the World. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nerds Rule.
Love
it. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julie.
Yes, Nerds Rule. Yes,
rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy KUYA P. Nerds Rule the World. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world, all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys. Recording. All right, I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 to help me with my edit, and we'll get right into the conversation. All right, here we go. In a 1, 2, 3.